Hello my friends, how you doing? Welcome to 40 Days to PMP Exam Success. It's been quite a journey, and now we're in the business domain and going on to yet another task in the business domain. And this task simply states, support organizational change. How do you support organizational change? Well, first of all, you need to be aware of what is happening in the organization as far as culture is concerned. It simply states, assess organizational culture. What kind of culture do you have in the organization? Is it a theory X minded culture? Is it theory Y culture? Is it a culture of agility? Is it one of trust? Is it one of micromanagement? Is it one of rapid change, or is it one of innovation? Is it one of servant leadership and encouragement and nurturing? What kind of culture does your organization have? So that's the first enabler. The next enabler simply states, evaluate the impact of organizational change to your project and determine required actions. In other words, assess how changes happening in your firm will impact your project, or it could be any of the firms involved in the project. But it's always good to ask and preempt how change in the firm will impact your project. Big changes happening in the organization could absolutely scrap a project, or it could radically change a project, or it could determine that there needs to be additional value, benefits, output, outcomes on the project. And it takes one looking at the project from a more strategic business standpoint. But this is one of the tasks that you are meant to understand as a PMP student. Okay? So how does change impact my project? How does organizational change impact my project? And what do I need to do to cope with this? All right. The final enabler is evaluate the impact of your project to the organization and determine required actions. In other words, ask the question, how will my project impact the firm? And if my project has a far-reaching effect on the firm, on the organization, then what are the actions I need to take to enable the firm effectively cope with the changes my project is bringing? For this reason, the project manager needs to think about allies, and the project manager needs to strategically think about change management and how it will be handled, because not everyone is going to be able to absorb huge amounts of change spontaneously. You need to have sense-making sessions where people can make sense of any overwhelming changes that your project is bringing to a firm. I often encourage project managers to read up about change management in organizations. I have a video about this because PMI has a standard about this. It's called Managing Change in Organizations, and it's a publication I would recommend every PMP student be aware of. If you're not able to do that, just open up the 7th edition and look for PMI's Managing Change in Organizations model. It's a model talked about in the 7th edition, and I call it the FPIMS model, FPIMS. Talks about formulating the change, planning for change, implementing the change, managing the change, sustaining the change, and what it entails. And in addition to that, do read the ADKAR model. Read the ADKAR model talked about in the 7th edition as well, and read the William Bridges transition model. All of these models are there to help you understand how to better cope with changes in an organization, whether being brought about by your project or whether impacting your project. It is good for you to know the components. I would also recommend John Cotter's model, Kotter. It's also in the PMBOK Guide 7th edition. Definitely a good read for project managers getting ready for the PMP exam or just in general. Okay? So take a look at those. It will help you. I know that it will give you some additional perspective on how changes could be managed in your firm, on your project, however they impact either. Don't forget today to look out for the concept of changes in organizations and the questions that are going to follow this. Those questions are very important for you to truly grasp the essence of the task. All right. Thank you for joining me today. I wish you all the very best. Talk to you soon, and bye for now.